Hi guys, welcome back. So I know that I talk a lot about being frugal and ways to save money, but I do think that there are certain things in life that are worth splurging on. So in this video, I want to go through my list of things that it's okay to spend just a little bit of extra money on. And I did include timestamps in the description box in case you want to move around to different parts of the video. Before we start talking, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I do videos like this every week about saving, budgeting, personal finance in general, paying off my personal debt. So if any of that is interesting to you, make sure you're subscribed. Okay, so let's get into the video. First thing is furniture. So I learned my lesson almost 2 years ago to just go ahead and invest in more quality furniture. And it doesn't have to be anything super expensive or super high end, but I think that it is best to just go ahead and get some like well-made furniture so that it doesn't break down on you in a year or two. And so you can really get some good value out of your furniture. About 2 years ago, I ordered a dresser and media console from an online store. Let's just call them Hey Stair. But I ordered it and it took me and my parents 3 hours to get halfway through putting the dresser together. My parents had to go home, so they left me and I had to figure out the rest. And it took me another hour and a half to put everything together on the dresser except for the drawers. And I wanted to put the dresser in place before I put the drawers in because I was like, well, it's going to be heavier once I do that. So as I was moving it, I heard this screech sound and the whole thing like topples over and I'm like moving it by myself. So I'm like panicking and I figure out how to like balance it enough to look down and see what happened. And basically like a whole corner of the dresser came apart. And it wasn't like the leg. It was like an entire corner chunk of it came apart and it was like you couldn't fix it. And so I called Hey Stair and they were like, there's nothing we can do. Sorry about that. And they did refund my money, but they were like, I mean, you could just keep it because it's broken. And like I had to figure out what to do with this broken dresser. So I basically had to like get it out of my apartment by myself. And I couldn't carry it because it's too heavy by myself. So I had to unassemble. I had to break it down all by myself, like piece by piece, and carry it multiple trips to the dumpster. So what I'm basically trying to say, I learned my lesson and I will never go through that again. After that, I was like, we're just going to pay what we need to pay in order to get some furniture that's going to last. And again, it doesn't have to be super high end. Just get something that is built well, like has a good build quality that can last you multiple years. And if it's something that's made really well, that's something that you can pass on for like years and years, household to household. When I was first moving out on my own, my parents gave me like some of their furniture that they've had since they were like first started adulting because it lasted like 20 plus years. So if you get good furniture, that's something that you will not regret because it'll last you for a really long time. Another thing that I think that it's okay to invest in is clothes and shoes. Again, you don't have to get designer, but quality. That's what we're looking for, is quality. You don't want to get like a super cheap shirt and then you wear it, maybe you wash it 2 times and now it's faded, or you've worn it for like a month and now there's a hole in it and now you have to replace it. So in those situations, you would want to get a more higher quality fabric, something that you can wash it multiple times and it's not going to fade, something where you can get one or more than one season out of it. So I've learned, like when I was younger, you know, I didn't care and I'd be like Forever 21 and cheaper places like that. But now I try to, again, not like designer or anything, but things that just feel higher quality and I can tell that they're going to last longer than something that was more cheaply made. Another thing that's okay to invest in is skincare. If you don't know, your skin is the largest organ in your body. Like it's essential and it's only one. You only get one. And once your skin is messed up, like it's really hard for it to bounce back. And by messed up, I mean like if you're not using sunscreen. Black people need to use sunscreen too. Don't believe the myth that we don't. We do, okay? Black may not crack, but it can weather, okay? So sunscreen is important. Making sure your skin is moisturized, taking care of your feet. You only get one pair of feet, and when those are messed up, they're messed up. So things like this, just think like it's the only body that you're ever going to have. So take care of it. So things like manicures and pedicures, that can be a cost, but I think that it's okay to do that within reason. If you want to get a pedicure once a month, even better if you do that yourself. I bought a like a at-home spa things, and I can like pour water in it and it can heat up and like bubble and massage, and it was expensive. It was like, I think it was like close to $100 when I got it, but I can now that I have it, I can always do pedicures at home. And trust me, if you are repeatedly going to the nail salon to get pedicures, you're going to spend way more than $100 over time. So I think that was a pretty smart investment. During this whole quarantine time, I've taught myself how to do SNS dip powder on my nails. So I do my own manicures now. So still taking care of myself and investing. It was like a initial cost to get all the like materials and everything to do my own manicures and pedicures. But now that I have it, I don't have to repay for those things. They're mine, and I can keep them for forever. And still save money while also investing in myself. Another thing that you shouldn't be afraid to spend money on is healthy food. As I was saying about skincare, this is the only body that you're ever going to have, so you need to fuel it with good, healthy things. And that's something that I'm trying to work on for myself, because I do love me some fast food and everything. But as I get older, I am more cautious of like, hey, I don't want to have like high blood pressure when I'm 50 and like type 2 diabetes and all this stuff. So it is something that I want to work on too, just being healthier. And there is like, people say that like eating healthier is more expensive. I think there's ways to work around it, but even if it is more expensive than eating unhealthy, I think that that is a cost that is worth it, you know, to pay a little more in order to feel 100 times better. Another thing that is worth the investment, anything related to exercise. Again, anything related to your body, investing in your body is worth it. It's a good cost. So making sure that you are exercising regularly, that can include a gym membership. And I think there's gyms that can fit into anyone's budget. So places like Planet Fitness, that's going to be like $10 a month. When I was joined with my local YMCA, that was like $40 a month. And then things like Soul Cycle or you know, those type of things, those can be, you know, a lot more expensive. But I think that there's something that can fit everyone's budget. And then there's also things that are free. Walking. Just go out, and if you can, go outside and just walk around. That's free. So that's always an option. Jump roping. You have the initial cost of buying a jump rope, but after that, that's pretty much free. So get creative with it, but don't be afraid to invest in yourself and your health. So exercise is a great thing to invest in. Another thing is education. So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I have student loans, just like a lot of other people in the country. And yes, it was really expensive, but they can never take my degree away. And they can't take away all the opportunities that were opened up because I got that education. So there's lots of different ways that you can learn. So don't think that you have to be just in a traditional school setting. You can do things like I've heard of Skillshare. I've never personally used it, but I know that's like an online way of learning. Things like Masterclass, those are all paid options. YouTube, that's free, and there's a lot of educational videos on YouTube. So just learning in general. I don't think I've ever regretted learning something new. And as much as, you know, I'm in debt for these student loans. For me personally, I use my degrees every day. Like, I use my degrees in my career that I have. So I can't say that I regret it, because I wouldn't have the career that I have now. So I don't think that you would ever regret learning something new. So figure out what that means for you, and the best way for you to do that doesn't have to be college or graduate school, but just learning in general, that's always going to be a great investment. Last but not least, things that are okay to spend a little bit of money on are experiences. Material items are fun and all, but I feel like sometimes when I go, or if I'm shopping for something new, I get it and then it's cool in the moment, and then it kind of just wears off like a week or two later. It's like, oh, it's just another item, it's just another thing. But experiences, you don't really forget that, and the whatever emotions that you had during those experiences, you can always look back at them. So you'll always remember that trip to the beach, you'll always remember that trip downtown, that trip out of town, your first flight, your first time on a train, your first time on a bus ride. When you're older, you're not going to look back and be like, oh, remember all the things that I bought myself. You'll look back and you'll think about all the different memories and experiences that you had in your life. So I definitely think that experiences are worth investing in. And that doesn't mean that you have to do like super lavish experiences. I'm not saying to, fly first class to Europe or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything super expensive. Let's just assume that this is a post-COVID world. But, go to a museum, go to a play, go to an art gallery, try something new. Again, you don't have to blow your entire budget to do this, but just spending a little money on things like this, I think, are worthwhile. So there you go. That's my list of things that I think are worth spending money on. I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you give it a like if you liked it. Leave a comment down below. Share it so that other people can see it. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.